good morning, and happy Friday, Divas. Thank you so much for joining me. Can you please put a one in the chat and let me know that you can hear me and that I have no static, please? I did a test on my way in. I don't think I heard any static coming from my end, but if I do, please feel free to drop down and let me know. Again, welcome to Spilling the Business Tea with Pink Diva. Thank you so much for joining me on this Friday morning. As you know, um, as you're pulling your seat up to the table, I'm sorry, I have a frog in my throat. It's so early. I sound so different. So please excuse my voice. So let's do this again. Welcome to Spilling the Tea Business Edition. I am your host and your good sis, Pete Diva. Thank you so much for joining me on this Friday morning. As you're pulling your seat up to the table, don't forget to hit the like button. Feel free to drop down and leave a comment or ask questions on the topic, and turn your bell notifications on so that you'll be notified each and every time I drop a new topic. As you know, our mission is to create a safe space for women to gather as a community, engage in healthy dialogue regarding real life issues that we as women deal with on a daily basis, but most importantly, to foster the true meaning of sisterhood. And if you are here, that means you are subscribed and representing the Diva tribe, and not just any diva. We are divine, we are inspiring, we are valiant, and we are admirable. Welcome to the table, divas. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining. To those of you um, who are listening in, and those of you that are dropping in the chat, I appreciate you for being here for another early morning live. I'm not going to hold you long. You know, I have my timer running. So I'm only going to take about 1 hour of your time because today is Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so that I'll have some time left to try to answer any questions that you may have, if you have any. So, hello again to everyone as you're coming in. And to those of you that may be listening in the bushes, please feel free to ask any questions, but make sure you hit the like button for me. Feel free to share the live to anyone that you feel would be in need of information that we'll be sharing on this morning. Hello to my sister from another Mr. Chit Chat with QT. Hey, sis, thank you for modding for me. I know this is your day off, so I appreciate you for being here. Hey, Veronica. Hey. Thanks for being here. Teresa have an appointment on Friday morning, so she's not able to be here on Friday, but praying for you, Teresa. Hope all is well. And thank you to everyone that is listening in. We are going to go ahead and get started. Today, we are spilling the tea on choosing the right business partner. Choosing the right business partner. And to those of you who are already in business, I'm sure you are already aware of why it's so important to make sure that you have the right people on your team. Unfortunately, not everybody will have your best interest at heart when it comes to your business. So it's important for you to make sure that you are choosing wisely when it comes to who you're choosing to be a part of your team. Yes, we would love to think that going into business with a family member or my BFF would be a good idea, but sadly, it doesn't always work that way. Hey, Deborah, thanks for joining. Good morning, sis. I appreciate you for jumping in. But it don't always work that way. When choosing a business partner or before going into business with someone, you need to make sure that your values line up with each other, because you need to ask yourself, can that person clearly see and understand the vision and the goals that you have for your business? Are they reliable? Are they relatable? You know, what does their work ethic look like? Are they trustworthy? Can you trust them with crucial information about the finances of your business? There's a lot that you have to take into consideration prior to taking on a person, or you even becoming a business partner with someone else. Like, there are a lot of pros and cons to it, and we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. Selecting and also selecting a business partner, keep in mind, is one of the most important decisions that you can make as an entrepreneur because it directly impacts your company's growth and the stability of your company. It's just like, you know, how when you're going into a marriage or a relationship, and even with those things, we have to make sure we're choosing wisely. So you have to ask yourself, you know, are we a good fit for each other? So the same thing goes into business as well, because it's still a part of you, your brand and everything. A lot of people don't think about the what ifs when we're going into trying to start a business, and you know you're so excited at the beginning, and you just in conversations just talking to people and just randomly blurt out, oh, we should go into business together. But you need to make sure that you are talking about the what ifs when they decide to go into business, when you decide to go into business with someone. Because what if it doesn't work? You know, ask yourself, what if it doesn't work? Am I protecting my assets and my intellectual property? If I decide to sever ties with this person, can they walk away with half of my business and what I built? You know, we go through the same things like in relationships. You know, it's just like marriages when you are talking about prenups. You have to have contractual agreements in order to protect yourself and your business that you've built, right? So, hey, Toot, thanks for joining, sis. Thanks for being here. So, case in point, my daughter, my oldest daughter, decided to start a lock business. She's a loctician, and she and the young lady that she graduated lock school with actually worked at the same suite together. They both had a booth at this suite that they did locks at. And, you know, and they were really cool. You know how sometimes we think that even with our 9 to 5s, we think that we have coworkers that we are super cool with, and we feel like, excuse me, we feel like, oh, that's my friend. You know, a lot of people say, oh, that's my friend. And you think just because you have a good relationship with this person that they are good at doing business. But anyway, she decided, she was talking about sharing the information with her friend, the girl that worked at the lock suite with her. And she's like, oh, I'm getting ready to start my own business and, you know, get my own suite and start doing, you know, business for myself when it comes to my locks. And I have been working with her behind the scenes. You know, I helped her get her logo. I helped her decide what her business name would be. And I helped her with her branding to get everything up and running, getting her licenses, her LLC, and all of that stuff. So, keep in mind, this individual was nowhere in the mix in a part of this process. So she basically had built everything herself. But then when the chick heard her say that she was doing this, of course, she wanted to get in on it. And she was like, well, maybe we should go into business together. And my daughter reached out to me and she was telling me about it. And she was like, yeah, I think I'm getting ready to go into business and do my locks with, you know, my friend. You know, here's this quote unquote, my friend. And I was telling her, I was like, well, first of all, she's not your friend. She's just a basically a coworker that you get along with really, really well. You know, like a coworker, we work together, we get along really well, we work well together, but not someone that you should consider going into business with. So I gave her, you know, all of the cons with doing this. Of course, she's grown, so I'm just telling her, like, okay, let's think about this. Let's walk this through because you've shared with me the visions that you have for the business and, you know, where you see it going and what you want to do. You know, she wanted to not only just do locks, she also wanted to introduce, you know, classes and just educating her clients on the proper care for her locks. She wanted to create this, it was going to be a starter kit for her clients that were first time locks coming to get their locks done. And she was going to give them a lock care starter kit. And she was creating her own oils and everything to go into that starter kit for them. So she's busy. So she already had her goals and the vision that she had for the business. So then this chick comes in And she decided to put the girl's name on the LLC when she was registering the business. And then she started creating the social media, the business social media pages, doing the branding and all of this. And and she was calling me like, "Ma, I need you to help me with A, B, and C." And keep in mind, this girl was nowhere around. She was nowhere to be found while she was actually going through the process of building the business at the beginning stages. And then so I had to ask her, I said, "You seem to be doing a lot of this by yourself. Where is this said business partner?" Because, for one, what is her work ethic? Like when you're at the shop with her, does she come late? Do she have her clients waiting? Is she there ready and prepared when her clients walk through the door? Like, what's her work ethic? Because this is how you determine if a person is actually a good fit for business, period, let alone your business, but just business. Are you punctual? Are you on time? Are you professional? And I think a couple months went by. It didn't last long. Thankfully, it was still at the beginning phases of her building it. But she soon realized that she was like, "I think I made a mistake." And I'm the type of person that's going to tell you, "I told you so," especially when I told you so, to keep you from going through this sad thing. And she was like, "You're right. I made a mistake. I should have never put her on, my business or anything. So now I have to dissolve it and start over from scratch." Because she was like, "I just feel like I'm doing all of the work." She was like, "I'm doing all of the branding. I ordered and paid for all of the business cards and all of the flyers and the brochures. And, I'm the one that's brainstorming. It's almost like, she'll touch base every once in a while. I was like, "Oh, what's going on now? And what do we need to do? What do I need to do?" So it's basically, you do all of the work and just keep me posted, and I'll just jump in as I see fit. I want to ride the brand, and and I want to be a part of the shine, but I don't want to be a part of the behind the scenes and the work that comes along with building and running a business. So she had to make sure that she thought about this the next time around. So she ended up dissolving that business. So this is why I say you have to be careful who you are pulling onto your team to be a part of, your brand, because your brand and your visions, like, do you align with the goals that I have for my business? Those are critical questions that you need to ask yourself, as well as ask the individual that you are contemplating bringing on to be a business partner, or you signing on to be a business partner with them. So let's talk about some of the benefits of having the right partner in business. You have to make sure, for one, um, their skill set and their expertise should be complementary of yours. A partner that have different strengths can help fill gaps in your skill set. It creates a more well-rounded team, because you may have a certain skill set that I don't have, or I may have one that you don't have. So it's almost like we equally balance each other out. Then you have to make sure that this person leverage each other's strength and expertise to overcome challenges. So it may be a challenge, like I may have a strong suit. That's just like, again, in a relationship, some of us are more stronger, more in the financial aspect. We know better how to manage bills and pay bills on time, and making sure we're not overspending and all of that. So you have to just make sure whomever this partner is complements you in that area, because you may have a strength to my weakness and vice versa. One person may excel in marketing, may be really, really good with social media marketing and managing social media, while you may say that I'm not really a social media person. I'm not really techie like that. I don't really understand the functionalities of running and managing social media. So that may not be your strong suit. So then that whomever this business partner is, this will be your role. You will be taking over the marketing and social media managing of the business. You have to also think about, do we have shared resources and capital? We're trying to build a business, right? Is the money solely coming from me, or are we equally building this business together? Because then if we have partners, we can both pool resources, and including the capital, the contacts, our networks. You bring a different networking circle. You have different contacts and different levels of expertise that brings on better opportunities. This can also accelerate the growth of the business, and it makes it easier when we are ready to scale the business. So just making sure that that partner bring value and bring knowledge into the business that you're trying to build. Hey, Reen. Hey, Angela. Thank you, ladies, for joining. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. So that's very important. That's very, very, very important. Also, when you're looking at a business partner, are they you're looking at somebody who share risk and responsibility, because there is risk that comes along with building a business, because partnerships allow for you to share the risk and the responsibilities, and that can be very important when it comes to adding new pieces and entities into the business. This can also reduce the burden of just one individual and having ownership of everything. So you will have shared risk, shared responsibility, shared ownership, shared accountability. It also brings along a more balanced workload. So you don't feel like, let's say, for instance, if you have a business partner, one that you can depend on, one that is punctual, professional, show up, and you can trust that they are going to get the job done, then that allows me to be able to, like, hey, I'm gonna take a day off because I have a family gathering or something to go to. I can rest well in knowing that you're going to handle business while I'm away, and vice versa. You also want to make sure that this person can offer you motivation and support, because a trusted business partner can also provide invaluable motivation and support, especially when things are getting hard. And then, there are sometimes you're going to be going through this whole business thing, and, it's so stressful, and you're at a point to where you're just like, you know what? I think I want to throw in the towel, because I'm over this. It's stressful, it's frustrating, it's not going the way that I thought it would have gone. I'm running into so many stumbling blocks, and I just want to throw in the towel. So if you got a business partner that can motivate you to say, hey, you know what, let's just hang in there. It gets greater later. Let's not throw in the towel so soon. So just having someone that can offer you that emotional support while you're going through the process, having somebody that you can lean on, somebody that can help you stay focused, help you stay resilient in the face of adversity, like I was just saying, and just a great partner that can also help you celebrate the small successes in business. It does not mean that, hey, I've made my first six figure amount. It means that we celebrate the small milestones in our business. Every milestone should be celebrated when you are building your business, because it takes a lot. You also want somebody that share your visions and your values with the business, because that's what it's about. If we are a shared partnership, it's about our visions and our values aligning with each other. And that creates the foundation for trust and collaboration, because if I have a set vision for my business and the things that I want to do in my business and how I want it to grow and flourish. If you are somebody who just doesn't, you just don't see my vision, you have to, especially if this was your vision, this is your idea, you have to make sure the person that you are bringing on can get on board with where you see the business going. Because I may, start off at one point, but I visualize my business being a one-stop shop for everything that I do. But if you have a business partner that's like, no, I don't think we want to do that, or shouldn't do that, and don't really want to put in the work to help get you to that point, your visions aren't aligning. And that's what you have to be very, very careful about, because everybody wants to get in and come in and get a piece of the pie when you're building, because it looks like it's something great. You have a great idea right here. It's a great industry to be a part of. So I want to get in. A lot of people just want to get in because it's going to make money. but they don't want to be at the beginning stages when it's building, because the money won't come overnight. You really have to put in the work, have to put a lot of sweat equity into building the business. So you got to have a business partner that's going to walk through the trenches with you, and just making sure that, we are on the same page. So making sure that, we align when we talk about the growth of the business. Where do we see the business going? Making sure that person aligns, make sure that person is really for the business. Make sure that it's somebody that you can have communication with. Great communication skills is a must when you have a business partner. We have to be able to communicate with each other. Closed mouths don't get fed. It has to be someone that we can collaborate with. It's essential for a successful partnership, and that's in all aspects of our life. We have to be able to actively communicate, effectively collaborate with each other to make sure we're building, being positive and productive while building the relationship. So having a great working relationship, and this can also lead to better decision making and efficient workflows when it comes to us building our business. We also want to make sure, like I was saying, make sure that we align with each other, because if you don't see my vision, how can you align with where I'm going? So, like I said earlier, I think I said this earlier, it's just like choosing a spouse. It's like a commitment, because again, if we're building a business, this is for the long haul. It's a long-term commitment. It requires trust. It requires shared values, aligned goals, open communication, as I just stated. And you just really have to evaluate their work ethic, and does their vision of the business complement yours? Like, what ideas do you have? We're bouncing ideas off of each other, because if it's misaligned, it can easily derail what the intentions for the business is. We talked about risk tolerance, choosing the right business partner, because the key factor is risk. Great partnerships help build great ventures, but again, it has to be the right person. Both parties have to be aligned, and both persons have to be aligned when it comes to the risk factors of it all. So having a mutual understanding is necessity. Making sure that person is stable and have stability when it comes to the business. So what happens if, because every month won't be a good month when it comes to business. Let me say this, once you're into business and, you feel like business is booming, the industry that I am in, it's a very trendy industry. Things are constantly changing all of the time. There are slots where we are super busy, and then there are time frames to where we are super slow. Typically around May through September, that is wedding season. That's prom season. It's the summer months, so a lot of activities are happening. So typically during the summer, business is super, super busy. The first of the year, business is super slow. So during those super slow months, we have to know how to pivot, because you're not getting booked, you're not getting new customers and new clients at the beginning of the year, because everything's slow. It's coming off of Christmas. Everybody spent all of their money. They don't really have the money at the first of the year as they did throughout the summer. Yes, income taxes play a role, but you know how people spend money on other stuff when they get income tax. But when business slows down, how do we pivot? How are we bringing in money? Because then we still have overhead. Those of you that own brick and mortars, or if we have suite spaces or storage spaces and all of this kind of stuff, bills still have to get paid. So is that person creative enough to say, hey, being that this is a slow month, maybe we should incorporate this, that, or the other to bring in income for the business because it is slow. So you have to just make sure that, we are aligning. And what are you doing when the months are slow? Because every month is not. I can book a wedding and I can make 25K for that wedding. And then the next month, I may not have another wedding or a party. It may just be somebody wanting to have cupcakes, or it may be somebody that's wanting to have cookies or balloons or something. So, yes, it would be great if I could book a 25K wedding every other month or every month, but that doesn't always happen. So you have to think ahead. You have to plan for the future and plan for those slow months to make sure there is something that's keeping income coming in. That's why when I started my business, my goal was to always be a one-stop shop. It wasn't to just be a event designer, to just go in and decorate your wedding. I wanted to offer different aspects of the event industry that I can include in my business concept, so that if you don't get one thing, you can get another. You can choose to have a full blown event with me and I can come in and decorate the entire thing. Or you can just choose to say, no, I want you to come in and just set up and style a dessert table for me. Or, you know what, I don't even need you to come in and style the dessert table. I just want to order the desserts from you and come and pick them up. Or, I just want you to add some balloons. I'm having a event at my, let's say, daycare center, and I want some balloons outside. Or my school is having a prom and I want you to come and do the decor for the prom. So I wanted to make sure that I had different things to offer in my business to make sure I was still having money coming in. Even custom party favors, that's a huge thing for parties. People may not want you to do decor, they may just want you to do custom party favors. So when you're building and when you're thinking about ways to kind of um, bring in and incorporate other things in the business and how to pivot, always think of what else can I add? Like, what am I currently not doing and what can I add? Because if you pay attention to your customers, and this is if you're in a service based business or a product based business, if you pay attention to your customers, they are constantly always asking you for stuff. They're asking you for things that you don't have, like, hey, do you do such and such, or do you offer let's see what we were not offering before. We weren't offering balloons at the beginning, but they would always ask, like, do you offer balloons or do you do balloons? We didn't offer balloons, but I did have a balloon artist that I did use and I would outsource that service to them. But when I started to see that, I have a lot of clients that are requesting balloon work when they are booking, I was like, okay, what do I do? So I took a balloon class so that I could learn the concepts of balloons so that I can incorporate that into my business. So you're always needing to pay attention to what your customers are asking you. Um, if you are a product based business, let's say, for instance, you offer like Bath and Body Works, if you have a favorite scent of lotion or body spray or whatever, and you say, you know what, this is my favorite scent. I'm going on a vacation. I would like to have this in a travel size. And then if I ask you, like, hey, do you offer travel sizes? That's something that you need to take into consideration. If you have a client that's saying, oh, they want a travel size product of this same, full size set that they get, so then you need to be thinking of ways that you can incorporate travel sizes into what you currently offer, because the customers will pretty much tell you what it is they want. So making sure you have the right business partner can help you stay aligned in that area. Can you trust this person? One of the most impactful traits in a business partnership is the foundation, and that is established with trust. Any relationship, because some things can come in and it can blow you in a totally different direction. So you need to make sure that you can trust this individual. Trust is important, not just business, but all relationships. So when you're treating your business, having a business partner, you need to treat it just like a relationship. Have open and honest communication with each other. That's the key to success in any relationship. If you don't think, if I'm saying that I want to do something and you think I'm not making sense, or you think that it's a flop or a fail, say that. Tell me. Don't let me make the mistake. So, and then you also have to be willing to accept the feedback that you are getting. That's why it's called a partnership. We bounce ideas off of each other. Make sure we are clearly stating what our intentions are. when you're thinking about bringing somebody in, excuse me, when you're thinking about bringing somebody in as far as partnership, you have to have clear conversation with them and say, hey, these are my expectations. This is my baby. This is my vision. I'm building this business from ground up. These are my expectations. Can you walk in my vision? And then you give them the opportunity to say yay or not, yay or nay. Reputation. Another critical factor in selecting a business partner is their reputation and how they are perceived in the public. Now, you don't want anybody just out here representing your brand. You have to be very strategic in your picking. How are they perceived in the public, in the media? How are they perceived with, at their own 9 to 5 coworker and anybody else that's a part? Like, a partner with strong and positive reputation not only enhances the trust in the collaboration, but it also reduces risk. We talked about risk, so make sure you know what your reputation look like, because you don't want anybody just out here representing your business and your brand. Adaptability is another when choosing a business partner. Adaptability is essential. This is a partner who can adjust to change. It helps the business stay resilient. It helps the business thrive. So you have to make sure that that person can adapt. Flexibility brings strength. It fosters creativity and it ensures long-term success. So make sure that transparency is another. Apart from the regular points like experience, competence, of track record, the transparency is a key factor when choosing a business partner. Open communication from the start builds the trust. It prevents misunderstanding. It ensures alignment on the goals and values, and it helps to manage the risk. So this is essential for long-term success. So transparency is another. Background work. Doing background work is essential, especially on how a prospective business partner handles relationships. Okay, listen. I have a whole when I have my students that join mentorship, my mentorship program, my business mentorship program. And when we are creating a program that are specific for your goals and the visions that you have for your business, I actually give them a test. There's a test that I give them, and they take at the beginning of starting the course. And this basically, the test that I provide will basically show you if you are a good fit for what you're going into business with. And people don't think that this is a thing. This test is so amazing and it is so realistic. I don't like to set people up for failure. So when my clients come to me, I want to make sure that they're on the right path, because a lot of people jump into business because, again, it's a money grab. I feel like I can get a quick buck. So I really just want to do it. I don't care about educating myself on the industry or what it is. I just want to jump in and get money. So, but if a person is investing in themselves and their business, and they're investing with me and they're taking my course, then I want to make sure that they are on the right path. I want to make sure the job that you're going into, let's say for instance, if you want to open a daycare center, but you're a person who don't even like kids, do you really think that you are a good fit for that role? You don't even like kids like that. Or if you want to open a bakery and you don't even like going in the kitchen and cooking, how are you opening a bakery? So I give a test to make sure that, I want to make sure that they're a good fit for where they're going, because that will help determine if you're in the right role and if you're going to actually be successful in this business, or are you going to be 3 months in it and then you're going to go through, I don't want to do this anymore. And you're constantly changing. That's because you wasn't a good fit for it. So make sure you do the background work on that person and making sure that this is a person who handles relationships well. For example, do you have long-lasting partnerships? Do they thrive on alignment through both the good and the challenging times? You understand how the partner supported their partners during tough times, because this will be a key factor in, building the business. Like if you are a person who just throw in the towel quickly, I don't need you to be a part of my business. I don't need you to be a part of my team. You need to make sure that the perspectives that fill each other's blind spots, something that I didn't see, but you were able to catch it. And that's successful in most partnerships. While all of the shared values matter, the exceptional partnerships emerge when each party brings clarity to each other's uncertainties. I may be uncertain about something, but you may have more clarity on it. So, do we work together well in that end? Shared goals is another one. Making sure that our goals align with each other to drive the success of the business. When we share the same vision and understand what we're aiming to achieve and why we're aiming to achieve it, that enhances the transparency. It minimizes conflict and it assures that that we have a strategic alignment, and it both motivates both of us to positively push to our goals. So make sure that is in place. Make sure you have shared goals. Um, Managed and aligned expectations. Managing expectations is key, again, to a worthwhile relationship. The sooner you can do this in the business relationship, the better, because it will also allow both of us to properly decide whether our goals and expectations are properly aligned in order for us to get the most out of the business relationship. Distinct lanes, distinct lanes. Having worked with many, many people, I have seen so many businesses thrive when the business partners complement each other and operate in their own lanes, right? I feel like every partnership in business should have their own strengths, weaknesses, and own lanes. Case in point for my business. Those of you that know, my youngest daughter is my business partner. And she and I have one of the best working relationships that I could have ever asked for. We have specific lanes. I'm the creative designer. She is she's the pastry chef. I don't go in the kitchen trying to tell her how to make her cakes and cupcakes and all of the delicious desserts that she make. I don't know her recipe. I have no idea what she do, how she do what she does. I just know it's good. She does not come into the design room trying to tell me how I should design my focal points or how I should set up a room or any of that kind of stuff, because she knows that's my area. We know each other's lane. Yes, we do jump in and we assist each other. I'm not saying I don't go in and help her when she's, making her cakes or anything. When she makes her cakes and she need help with packaging and all of this kind of stuff, I step in and I do that. When I'm designing and we getting ready to go set up a wedding, of course she comes along and basically she tell me to give her the blueprint and she follows what I say, that we're designing this space. So she'll just say, okay, where do you want this, and this? Everything is already there, and she just jumps in. She helps me put the backdrops up. She helped me put the, balloons. We help all package and pack the van when it's time to go. So we jump in and help where we're needed, but we have very defined lanes and we don't cross those lanes. So you have to make sure the business partner that you have, they're not crossing those lanes. You have to make sure. Thank you, Veronica, for the Cash App, sis. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But you just have to make sure that you have distinct lanes in your business and making sure you're not crossing those boundaries. That's very, very important. Make sure, and then at the end, the roles complement each other, and it builds a stronger foundation because your business partner will see that you trust them to do what they should do and they trust you to do your part. Because I'll tell people all the time, they'll come to me and it's like, oh my goodness, that cake was so good. And I was like, well, I'll tell her I didn't make it, but I have no idea what ingredients she used. I just know it's good. She has no idea the ingredients that I use when it comes to me designing something. Like she's not in my head. She doesn't know my vision for what I see when we walk into a blank space. She just say, tell me what you need me to do. And that's what we do. So it's a great partnership. And I will say a lot of times you will hear people saying that, I don't want to I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of this business. I think I'm burnt out. I hear that a lot. I hear, my clients tell me a lot that I feel like I'm burnt out and I don't want to do it anymore. And you know why? Because people are chasing it for the wrong reason. They only wanted to get into it for the money. And I can say we have been operating as a legal business since 2014. I can say there has never been one day that I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to, I want to change and I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I have never said that. When I say I 100% enjoy what I do in my business, I thrive off of it. I get such joy and excitement walking into a blank space and being able to visualize how I would design that room. Like I'm so into it. I will sit here for hours and work on a mock-up of what I'm going to do to bring this vision alive, how I'm going to customize this, treat order and make it look super pretty. Like I really, really love that. And we had that conversation before, and we were like, you know what? I really love what I do. And we've been doing this for a long time. I love creating. I love, going into a restaurant and decorating the table for a dinner party. I really love that. Like, that is just something that I have always just been just excited about. So just make sure whatever business you're going into, make sure it's something that you enjoy so it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work to me. I enjoy it. Um, I get tired. Don't get me wrong. It's sometimes that we have events back to back to back. And because it takes so much planning and so much, just working behind the scenes, I absolutely get tired because not only do we have to go set up the party, we have to go back and break it down when the party is over. And a lot of times, those of most parties don't end until midnight. So we have to stay up and wait until the party is over, go break down that party at midnight when their party is over. So everything that we went in there and set up and made look really pretty, we have to go back and break it down, pack it back up, take it to the storage. We have to send the tablecloths and stuff to the laundromat to be laundered and all of that stuff before. And then we have to go restock it back into our storage. So it's a lot of work that goes into it. So do I get tired? Absolutely. But am I so tired to the point to where I say I no longer want to do this anymore? Absolutely not. I love it. I really do. I really love it. How much time do we have? Let me check my timer so I can make sure I'm staying on time. Okay, we have 18 minutes left. Um, Complementary strengths. Make sure our strengths are complementary of each other, making sure we're not overlapping our strengths and our skills. We have shared priorities and visions, but have to be willing to challenge each other and provide expertise from each end. So make sure our strengths complement each other. Make sure that we are committed to ethical practices. This is one thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to. When selecting a business partner, especially in the direct mail or marketing space, make sure you prioritize those who share your commitment to data quality and ethical practices. Let's say this goes as something as simple as sending an email coming from your business when you are responding to a client or potential client via email. Can you type a professional email? You have to make sure you are professional because once it's sent, you can't get it back. So, can I trust you to be professional in something as simple as responding to a text message or responding to an email or inquiry, whatever it is? You have to be customer centric minded. You have to be professional at all times. So, you just got to make sure that we share the same ethical practice. You can't be cussing people out in the email. That's unprofessional. You can't do that. So you just have to make sure that the person that you are in business with is making sure that you line up ethically. Make sure that the common vision and the swift action. So one key factor when choosing a business partner is ensuring the win-win dynamic, right? With aligned values, ethics, and vision. So partners should be on the same page from the start to build trust and mutual respect. So, maintaining the partnership requires ongoing communication and swift action to address any misalignment and ensuring the relationship stays strong and beneficial for both parties. So if something comes up and it needs to be addressed, this goes back to the whole communication aspect. Say it. Say it then. Don't let stuff just fester and build up. Say it then. Character. Character is one of the most important key factors when selecting a business partner. It's crucial to determine if a potential partner possesses processes qualities that will align closely with your company's mission and values. That's very, very important. Although they have the skills and all of that is essential because most skills can be taught through proper training, but integrity and your work ethic is something that can rarely be taught. That's something that you need to come with. So, because the whole thing about your character, it can outwork your skills. So, you need to make sure, you can have the talent and the skills, but your character is questionable. So, you have to make sure. Resilience is another. Choosing a partner who doesn't align with your goals and can't navigate challenges with the integrity. You gotta check their resilience. They have to be willing to collaborate on shared systems. So, making sure that they collaborate, making sure that they know how to utilize management tools. So, making sure that the long term growth and goals of the business is always forefront. Making sure that there is mutual value. The core principle in any partnership that can be business or personal, the value each partner creates for the other is essential. So just making sure that there are terms of mutual value that both partners can bring to the table. And just be able to just incorporate and create new processes into the business. Are you solely just depending on me to do that, or can you jump in and do it as well? So you just have to make sure that we are on the same page. We have to make sure. Let me see if you have any questions. Hey, CC, thanks for being here, sis. I appreciate you. Hey, Jenny B. Hey, Babette. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you all for tapping in on this Friday. Hey, Reen, sis, did I speak to you? If I didn't, I apologize. Thanks for being here. Does anyone have any questions on choosing the right business partner and just making sure that you have the right business partner in mind when you're getting ready to go into business? Because you can't just give that role to anybody. That's a role that, and you don't want to go into business with anybody else either if you don't feel like you all align as well. You have to make sure you align with each other. You have to clearly be able to see the vision. And you don't want to get into business and then right smack in the middle and you say, okay, now it's time for us to go to step two. And then this person like, no, I don't think we should do this and that. Because once they've signed on the dotted line and you've involved them into being, a part of the process, and now they've signed on to be a business partner. So now you got to go through, now we're at a standstill. And then the thing is, building a business and a partnership with someone is just like going into a marriage, as I stated earlier. It's easy to get into, but it's even harder to get out of. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about going into business, because now we have to divide these assets. Now we have to determine if, how we're going to divide this business, now because I went into business with this person and now it's not working. So now I either have to halt the business as a whole and start from scratch, or how do I quickly get this person um, from being a part of my business? Like, how do I do that? That's not something that you can just do overnight. So you just have to make sure that you're doing the right thing and making that decision up front. Lapre said, this is valuable information. Thank you, sis. Veronica says, how can I implement these processes with a family foundation? Family is tricky too, Veronica. And that's why I say, I'm not speaking about your situation, but family and friends, you have to really, really be careful with going into a family business. Just like with anything, Veronica, you have to set the expectations at the beginning. When you have that first initial meeting, You have to set the expectations. You have to also utilize the individual strong suits from the group, whomever is a part of the business structure. Just make sure whatever their skill set is, whatever they're good at, utilize them in that area. Let's say, for instance, if you're going into open a family restaurant or something, you're going to have an individual that's really good at managing people. They have very good people skills. They're good at talking to people. They're good at being fair. They just know how to keep the morale high. That's the person that you need to be over management, over HR and personnel, because they are good with people. You're going to have someone that has a strong suit in finances, so you want to make sure that person is over the financial stability and the books and the accounting and all of that kind of stuff, because they're good and skilled in the area. Because you can't be somebody who don't even know how to manage money in your own personal life and expect to be managing the money of the business. Because just because we made $2,000 today does not mean we get to pocket that $2,000 and get to go shopping and buying the latest Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all of that kind of stuff. So you have to make sure you're putting people in place according to their skill set and utilizing them in area based off what they bring to the table. So it can be done, but you have to implement that at the beginning, and you have to have those hard conversations. And then if it doesn't work out, you don't be afraid to let that person go, because we're not going to allow you to come in and bring the business down because of your bad decision making. Because regardless if you have two people or 50 people a part of the team and our partnerships in this business, everybody brings something. But if one person gets out of line with the visions of it, it could bring the whole thing down, because everybody represents the brand. Everybody. So if you mismanaging and mishandling stuff, you represent the brand. LaPree said, was it a hard decision going into business with your child? It absolutely was not. That was one of the easiest. When I say, and it's not because she's my child and I'm the mom, it's not like, it's not a what I say goes type partnership. She really went, my daughter, when she graduated, she went into nursing school. But when we went into business together, she went back to school to get her business license. She actually went, she said, Mama, I want to know this business. I want to be able to manage this business. She graduated business management school. She went back to school to make sure, because I'm the accountant, I handle the books and all of that, but I wanted to make sure she also understood it as well. Yes, I'm mama, but don't be so trusting of me to just think I'm going to do the right thing with the business. Let's say, for instance, if God forbid something happens to me and I'm no longer available to be that piece of the pie for the business, she'll know how to step in. She sees, what's going in, what's coming out. We both have access to the business bank account. She knows what's being spent. She knows the money that's coming in. We're both very well versed in that. She knows how much is being spent on inventory, the bills of the business, and all of that kind of stuff. So I keep her very much so involved with everything, because I didn't want her to think that, again, like I said, just because I'm mama, I knows best. We bounce ideas off of each other. If I'm thinking about including or incorporating something new, I reach out to her and say, hey, this is what I was thinking. What you think? And vice versa. If she say, oh, I think we should do this, what you think? So we logically talk it through with each other. We have business meetings. We have our days to where we call admin days, to where we are strictly doing paperwork for the business, responding to any emails, thinking about new and innovative ideas that we want to add. Excuse me, add coming down the line. Like, we really talk through this. It's not a one-sided partnership. That's why who you go into partnership with, you need to make sure that you're on the same page, and it can't be one-sided. It can't be all about you and what you want to do and how you want to do things. We actually have to sit and talk this stuff through, so that you can tell me if I feel like I'm thinking a little too big, because it's been times times, it's been times of where I've presented something to her, like, I'm thinking about, A, B, C, and D. She'd be like, pipe down, sis, you're doing too much. Like, not right now. So she's had to, talk me down off of a ledge a couple times. It's been times that, she said something and I'm like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And this is why. So we always provide the why we don't think something is a good idea, or vice versa. And that's what partnership is. We want to first and foremost understand and make sure that it is good for business. It has to make good business sense. Does it make sense for us to spend this amount of money for whatever this thing is? Does it make good business sense? And if we purchase it, and we spend this money, what's the return on our investment, right? So no, it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard at all. So that's why you have to just really make sure that you are in business with the right person and open communication. Because it's times, girl, we'll probably be done had all kind of stuff added if I didn't have her to say, no, not right now. Maybe we could do this later. But our vision is, as far as our vision, long-term goal for the business, that is, we are aligned 100%. Our goal is always to have our own event space that houses our storage. We have spaces, multiple spaces that we can rent out at the same time for events, big or small. Our office is there, our commercial kitchen is there. That has always been a part of our business plan from day one. And that's always been our long-term goal. So that's what we're building up to. And we are on the same page when it comes to that. We are on the same page when it comes to that. So that's why it's important to make sure you are choosing the right business partner. I cannot tell a person that going into business with family members aren't good or friends aren't good, but just as long as you all are aligned, because I have seen, so many family businesses go under because, they're not on the same page and people aren't, communicating properly and effectively. And not making sure that we're remembering our why, right? You have to make sure you're remembering why we're doing this in the first place. And that's another topic we're going to talk about as well. LaPre said, thank you. I took Mel's property preservation class, and I really want my kids on board with it. You know what? That's a great idea, LaPriest, because I was talking to my husband about Mel's property preservation class, because our kids came to us wanting us to do something as far as a family business. And I introduced them to Mel's property preservation class. So we're going to take her class as well. And we're going to bring the kids involved on it. So that would be a great, I love the idea of legacy building, and it gives them a sense of ownership. It shows them what hard work look like. It shows them what it looks like to, not only are we making money, but we're getting up and we're going to work. It shows work ethic, and it just shows them how to build for their own future. So I would highly suggest bringing your kids on board with that. That class is amazing. It's phenomenal. And we're going to be taking, well, I'm going to be taking the class, and I'll be introducing it to them. They want me to take the class, but then, of course, they'll be a part. So you're on the right track. So that's definitely, you're on the right track. That's a great idea. Veronica says, very informative. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I appreciate you. So we only have 2 minutes left. Any other questions? Any other questions? Um, if you have a topic that you would like for me to add to my list, that we can talk about, something specific to you, definitely drop it down in the comment or drop it down, inbox me over on Instagram, and I'll see it and I'll add it to my list. I have a long list that we're going to talk about. I could talk business all day. I love it. I really do. I really do. I also offer I have an influencer elite mentoring program. If you go over to my Instagram page at g.holloway inc, on Instagram. That information is over there, and I work specific to your business. My program is an A to Z program that I built that works with each individual specifically. It's industry wide. It could be for any industry, but just helping you create a simplified roadmap to get you to where you want to be in your business, because we know success looks different based off of your vision and goals that you have for your business. So just help you create a plan to get you from point A to B. I don't do the work for you. I just help you help yourself. That's my tagline. I help you help yourself. So I just help you with whatever aspect that you feel that you need help with in helping the success and the growth of your business. And that's from conception to launch. I help you launch. I help you start, and just helping you brainstorm and everything you need business related. So go follow my business page, G.Holloway Inc. at over on Instagram. It's all kinds of business information over there. I help you find small business grants that are available for women owned businesses in areas specific to everyone statewide. That's my timer. So just go check it out. And if you have any questions, you can leave me questions over there and I'll respond. You're welcome, Laprice. Laprice says, thank you for the confirmation. Yes, go for it, sis. She said this should be a weekly segment. It is. It is a weekly segment every Friday at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Laprice, meet me right here at Pink Table Topics every Friday. Every Friday. Sis says, this was amazing information. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, sis. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sis. It is the priest every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here for Spilling the Tea Business Edition. So, again, thank you so much to every one of you for joining me on another segment of Pink Table Topics, Spilling the Business Tea. I hope I was able to provide some insight, some valuable tea on choosing the right business partner. If you have some questions that we didn't get a chance to go over, I will come back and read the comments later. So make sure you leave a response. Join me back here next Friday, 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time for another segment of Spilling the Business Tea. I appreciate each and every one of you that was listening in, everyone that dropped down, that was leaving a comment. I appreciate you. To the replay gang that'll be tuning in later, please make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Please make sure you are subscribed to Pink Table Topics so that you can get notified every time I drop a new topic. And you all have a great, great Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Again, I appreciate you all for rocking out with me, and have a great day. And I will chat with you soon. Have a good day.